The post-Cold War era witnessed a period of American dominance in global affairs, with Europe often relying on the US for security guarantees. However, the Trump administration's America First doctrine marked a significant shift in US foreign policy, raising concerns about America's commitment to its traditional alliances. Trump's pressure on European NATO allies to increase their defense spending, coupled with his transactional approach to international relations, created uncertainty about the future of transatlantic security cooperation. Trump's demands for Europe to contribute more to its own defense were not entirely unfounded. European defense spending had lagged behind that of the US for decades, leading to concerns about burden sharing within NATO. Trump's rhetoric, however, often came across as abrasive and raised doubts about the durability of American security guarantees. This uncertainty was further compounded by Trump's diplomatic overtures to Russia, a move that alarmed many European leaders. Trump's decision to withdraw the US from the Iran nuclear deal and the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces (INF) treaty, both of which were seen as key to European security, further fueled anxieties about America's commitment to the continent. Faced with US pressure and growing geopolitical uncertainty, European countries began to reassess their defense postures. Several nations, particularly those in Central and Eastern Europe that share borders with Russia, pledged to increase their defense budgets. Poland and Lithuania, for instance, committed to exceeding NATO's target of spending 2% of their GDP on defense. Germany, often criticized for its low defense spending, also signaled a willingness to increase its military capabilities. The German government proposed an emergency fund to modernize its armed forces and pledged to gradually increase its defense budget. The European Union also stepped up its efforts to bolster European defense cooperation. The European Commission proposed a series of initiatives aimed at strengthening European defense, including the creation of a European Defence Fund to finance joint research and development projects. The EU also sought to promote the development of a more integrated European defence industry, recognizing the need to reduce reliance on US military equipment. Despite these efforts, Europe still faces significant challenges in its quest for greater strategic autonomy. One of the most pressing issues is the fragmentation of the European defence industry. European countries often prioritize their national defense industries, leading to duplication of effort and a lack of interoperability between different weapons systems. Another challenge is the lack of a unified political will among EU member states when it comes to defense. While there is a growing recognition of the need for greater European defense cooperation, translating this into concrete action has proven difficult. Decisions on defense matters often require consensus among all EU members, which can be difficult to achieve given the divergent security perceptions and national interests within the bloc. To overcome these challenges, the EU has launched several initiatives aimed at promoting greater defense cooperation. The European Defence Fund, for example, is intended to encourage collaborative research and development projects among European defence companies. The EU has also established a permanent structured cooperation (PESCO) framework, which allows groups of member states to cooperate on specific defence projects. The evolving security landscape in Europe, marked by a more assertive Russia and a less predictable United States, has forced European countries to rethink their defense postures. While the idea of a European army remains a distant prospect, there is a growing recognition that Europe needs to take greater responsibility for its own security. The increased defense spending by European countries and the EU's efforts to promote greater defense cooperation are steps in the right direction. However, Europe still faces significant challenges, including the fragmentation of its defense industry and the lack of a unified political will on defense matters. The coming years will be crucial for European defense. If Europe can overcome its internal divisions and forge a more cohesive and capable defense posture, it will be well positioned to navigate the challenges of a more uncertain world. However, if Europe fails to step up to the plate, it risks becoming increasingly vulnerable to external threats and losing its strategic relevance on the global stage.